Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Monday morning edition of Sports Shorts Daily. A little three-pack for you. Ronnie Rance, Hunter McCann, and Tommy Christsan joining you from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Hunter at an undisclosed location in Baton Rouge, and I am somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico on aboard a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. 6,700 passengers on this boat. I mean, that's bigger than Northwestern State University has as far as students in Natchitoches. There's a lot of towns in Louisiana that don't have 6,700 people in it. I don't know. That's probably St. Michael's, St. Jean Vianney, St. Alphonsus, Parkview. Keep going. How many? Dunham, all rolled into one. The whole whatever. But here, I will give you a little piece for those of you that might be at the office, or those of you that might, just to give you a taste, just a taste. Right there.
Ronnie, there we go. There we go to the Gulf of Mexico.
Listen, Tommy, a couple of things here. If I fall overboard, there's no shot that I'm going to live, survive, float for anyone to find me. Just keep going. I would freak out if I hit that water and was in the middle of nowhere, because you can't see anything. I mean, it's just as far as the eye could see, it's water. I don't even know how people do it, how they fall off and survive. 2 years ago exactly, this week, a guy fell off in the Gulf of Mexico on a boat not far from the mouth of the Mississippi River. He survived like 24 hours in the water, and then they found him. Like, forget that. I would just give up and go. But anyway, Hunter, thanks for joining us, man. I'm just going to jump in here early on in the show real quick. I want to get you guys' thoughts. A lot to get to today. Of course, TK coming to us from Court Street Cafe. We're presented by LeBare's Casino, our title sponsor, and the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. By the way, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, if you've been kind of contemplating, hey, when should I go to check it out? Right now, between now and the year, they have the Christmas lights going on. It's the perfect time. Saturdays, every Saturday between now and the first of the year, they have fireworks. They have bands in the afternoon. So stop by Natchitoches. It's just 2.5 hours from Baton Rouge, and go check out the Christmas lights as well as the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. It's open from 10 until 4:30. Tigers get a win, Hunter. You said take Vandy in the points. Tommy even went a little bit further. He bought the money line. That's what he does. He's money line TK. But that said, how do you feel about LSU's win, Hunter and Tommy? They got a victory, but they didn't look impressive.
They didn't look great, to be honest with you. I thought the run game definitely had finally found some legs to it, no pun intended. I mean, Josh Williams finally had a good game. I mean, I'm not really sure we'd seen much from him all year to really kind of make you feel like he was going to end his LSU career on the right foot. But, I mean, fantastic game, 151 total yards. I believe there was a number for him, and between passing and receiving, and he was fantastic. He was fantastic, and LSU honestly could have won that game, I believe, by more if they really had been able to contain Pavia on the ground. I actually thought Vandy could have won the game if they had ran the ball more with Pavia in the triple option. Like, it felt like that he handed off the ball a lot of times where I felt like the read was to keep it. Like, I felt like the ends were crashing a lot more than they should have for LSU. So in a sense, I felt like they were lucky that Vandy wasn't catching on to that and running more with Pavia. But man, you were talking about taking Vandy in the points. What a sweat for that. And LSU's driving with less than 3 minutes to go. And I'm just begging, find a way to, miss the field goal or run out the clock. And it sure didn't look like that was going to happen until Vandy was offsides. They got that first down inside to get LSU in the red zone. Tigers get another first down and basically take a knee on the doorstep. So super, super sweat, because had they scored that or even kicked the field goal, LSU covers them in that game.
Tommy, I want to ask you, should LSU have covered? Here's the thing that I wonder about. Nowadays, we all know the point spread. It's not taboo to talk about it. Coaches use it as motivation a lot of times. I mean, it's well known. But should a coach always try to cover for his fans, for his supporters, especially at home?
Well, he can't talk about it, but I think yes, he should. You know, in that case last night, he should be trying to get the ball into the end zone. It's a 7 point game. If they turn it over, Vandy can get the big play and go the other way. We saw the end of the Cowboy Redskins game yesterday. They scored like 40 points in the last 2 minutes. So anything can happen. And so yeah, I think I get it. They knelt on it and all that. A little respect. Clark Lee, the coach of Vanderbilt, used to be on Brian Kelly's staff at Notre Dame. So there's a little connection there. And that could have been why he said, but hey, guys, let's deal on it. But I would say you hand it off, you run the game. I mean, it's a one-score game. You might not want to take a risky throw, but you try to run the ball and get it in there. I don't think you line up for a field goal because it could get blocked and go the other way, which we saw happen this weekend in a few places. So, yeah, I think you should still keep going. And again, the coach can't say, well, we ran that play because we wanted to cover the spread. He can't say that, and he won't say that. But I think subconsciously he should do that for the fans.
Yeah, I just feel like at this day and age, I mean, you're not just judged by you're judged also by whether you covered or not, fair or not. That it's the reality we live in. But regardless,
Ronnie, Craig makes a good point. If they were in the playoff hunt, you would have wanted to score for the style points. Okay, but they're out the playoffs, and they're not going to Atlanta for the SEC championship game. So good point by Craig.
Speaking of style points, I mean, what a bizarre Saturday it was. It's amazing. Billy Napier is now all of a sudden 1 win away from 7 wins, and they should beat Florida State, right? And so they should go 7-5. There ain't but a few people on the planet, not named Napier, that thought that they were going to get 7 wins this year. And so he's being hailed as having a great year against the hardest schedule in America. Brian Kelly, who's probably going to end up with 8 wins. He's going to, he's favored against Oklahoma. He's at home. If not, he'll end up with 7. But there's a chance they could both end up with 7 wins. But, boy, the trajectory is quite different for Billy Napier versus Brian Kelly, where people are going, what's the buyout?
Well, and Florida's a 14-point favorite against the Seminoles, who finally got a win against a FCS team the other day. Yeah, Napier's story has become the story of the season, not counting all the 12 that'll be in the playoffs and this, that, and the other. But it's truly an incredible story. And, seeing what else will happen going forward. I mean, they have played better football, and you hit the nail on the head, right? They played the toughest schedule in America, And if he wins 7 games, which, again, I think he beats Florida State this week, I mean, he was all but fired on a Monday morning a couple of weeks ago, a month or so ago. And now, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future. Hunter, your thoughts?
That game was incredible just in the sense that how much that team was able to persevere this year and not listen to the noise in the preseason to put all that behind them. And nobody believed in them. So it's pretty incredible to see what a team can do when you rally around your coach. I think a lot of them really do believe in Napier. And I think he has really improved with his decision-making at his time in Florida. But I mean, it's also on the other side of the coin. It's also incredible just to think about how much talent Ole Miss had, and that this was the year for them, and they're going to miss the playoffs. And there's a little bit of sweetness in those tears that were rolling down Jackson Dart's face. I mean, so that Ole Miss team thought that they were invincible, and then they go and collect 3 SEC losses. So it just shows you that this 12-team playoff format, we all thought that may be a little bit less interesting. I think we figured out very quickly that it doesn't matter how many teams you add to this playoff. It's always going to be a very interesting ride when it comes to college football.
You know what the Ole Miss Rebels did? The Ole Miss Rebels did what Mickey Loomis has did the last few years of Drew Brees. He went all in on the salary cap. Damn the future, I'm going in, and that's exactly what Ole Miss did. We can't afford this team, but we're going to do it anyway. And they came up snake eyes, not making the playoffs. And if you're going to spend estimation between $18 and $20 million, which was the rumor of what they spent for Ole Miss just with football, and that's which is more than LSU. I mean, Brian Kelly himself said we're going to spend somewhere between 14 and 16 million. So Ole Miss went way more than LSU, and they got nothing more to show for it. No Alabama in the playoffs. It's going to be a bizarre playoffs. And the SEC is just eating itself up. I mean, Auburn knocking off A&M. Now the A&M, it gets some good juice to the A&M Texas game. The winner's into the Atlanta, which is kind of neat. First time they played in over a decade, and they're going to play in College Station with everything on the line. But I mean, Auburn winning and the Vanderbilt's emergence and Florida coming back. I mean, the SEC's fun, and it's like NFL now where anybody can beat anybody. But at the same time, for the conference, it's gotten too big, too good, and everybody's losing a couple of games, and that's not what the committee doesn't take into consideration. The eyeball test and the fact that, oh wow, there are 40 NFL athletes on the field compared to 5 or 10, and it's going to hurt the SEC.
Well, in the SEC, if Georgia plays Texas, both teams will get in the playoffs if they play in the SEC championship game. But if Texas A&M beats Texas and plays Georgia and loses, the only way they get in is by beating Georgia. The team with the silver line is Tennessee. If they can beat Vanderbilt this week, they're going to be 10-2, and they can't lose a game in Atlanta on December 7th. So, there you go. So that's what's going to happen. There's still a little else to go on around the country, in particular in the ACC and in the Big Ten, as far as how many are going to get in. But, hey, the oldest saying in Hollywood was, I don't care what you say about me, just say something. Well, there's plenty of talk about the college football playoff nationwide.
I'm going to jump off and let you guys handle it. I know y'all going to talk about Jaden Daniels and that crazy ending yesterday. I hate kickers. But I've got a seaweed wrap massage I got to get to.
Don't tell us about it. We don't need to know
on the Lido
that.
deck. So I'm going to go. I'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Thanks, Hunter, for jumping in.
Absolutely.
And I'm headed to the seaweed massage. See you, fellas.
Have fun, Ron.
Hunter, we jump on the map here. I didn't need to know where he was headed, but the uniforms LSU wore the other night, mixed reaction on social media. I saw a couple of people say that ought to be their home uniform. I don't agree with that. Your thoughts and what you think?
I never want to see him again. I really don't. I didn't like him when they unveiled him, but it's one of those things where, like, all right, I'm gonna wait till I see him in person. Sometimes they they release uniforms on social media or something like that, and you go, I don't know. Like I wasn't, for example, last year the Pelicans CD edition jerseys that everybody really liked with the green and purple voodoo thing. When they first revealed them, I was like, oh, that's awful. Like why? And then I saw them in person and I bought one. I think that it hits the eyeball test different in person, and it was not great.
And the eyeball test with the large group. Hunter, way before you were born, my senior prom at Holy Cross, you had to wear a white tux to the prom. Now you can wear any color shirt. And at first, everybody's like, oh, man, that's going to look terrible. But when you had 100 guys in the room all wearing a white tux, that was jamming. I didn't like the – go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I didn't like the LSU uniforms at all. And call me crazy, call me old, the numbers didn't look purple. They looked blue. And they had different stripe on the helmet, stripe on the shoulder. And I don't think the purple and the numbers, some people thought it was blue. There was a huge push on social media. Why are they wearing blue numbers? And I guess that's a lighting thing. And, I mean, you got the RGB thing. People know what I'm talking about, the color thing, the color codes. Why wouldn't they match it? I don't know. It just didn't look right.
Yeah, when I saw them in person on the sideline, definitely purple. But I did see a lot of people saying, especially on TV or from a distance, it looked more blue than that. And the one issue I really had with the uniforms is the fact that they almost looked a little mustardy, even not as mustardy as we've seen in the past, but they weren't gold. Like it did not look gold to me. And then I think what made it even worse for me was seeing the combination of the jersey with the yellow leggings. That was just too much yellow for me. And I tweeted something about it this weekend, and I agree with what Hutton Palmer had said at the beginning of the week, that yellow or gold in this sense, gold should be an accent color, not the main color when it comes to a uniform combination. And I agree with that. I think purple and gold is a beautiful combination. But usually for me, it's when the purple is the main color and the gold accents that.
And I agree completely with Hunt Palmer on that. And look, LSU is one of 10, 12 schools that has an iconic uniform. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the one-offs are okay every now and then. The all white, I think, looks sharp, looks classy. But I'm going to agree 100% with Hunt Palmer. The gold, whether they are playing with the gold pants, the white jersey, the gold helmet, or if they throw the purple jersey on, I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
that.
I don't care about that.
But which they do the first home non-conference game every year.
Mhm.
But I thought that was, I don't know, it's just not LSU. I mean, LSU, like I said, there's a long list of schools who, when you see that uniform on TV, if you're in that sports bar, you walk into a friend's house, you look at the TV screen, you immediately know what team you're watching. And I think LSU should stick to that brand, this, that, and the other. And again, it's a matter of opinion. Some people liked it, not a lot,
Yeah.
I don't think, but they got to cater to the players these days. Hunter, I saw a thing with Lane Kiffin about 2 weeks ago when they asked him, how do you guys decide what unique combo to wear? And Ole
Mhm.
Miss is not quite Oregon, but they have a lot of combo. He said they leave it up to the players. So if the players come to Kiffin and say, we want to go with the baby blue and the blah, blah, whatever, they pretty much go with it, okay? And again, in the NIL portal world, you got to keep the players happy. So, but LSU, I get it once a year, maybe go with something different for the little wrinkle and to keep the kids happy. But, it's LSU. Ryan Kelly talks about the standard of LSU football. Well, I think the standard of LSU football includes the iconic uniform that they've worn at home basically forever.
No, I agree with you. I definitely believe that there's a lot of tradition behind it, and I think it's better to stick with it. And I don't even think that's the reason why I don't like it. The breaking traditions you mentioned, like I don't mind wearing a different combination of uniform every once in a while. I just don't think the uniforms really were great. Like they just did not look great for the brand of LSU. It didn't look like the Tigers purple and gold, and it just kind of looked like an eyesore in the field. But at least the Tigers get the win, right? I mean, I think it even
Well,
tasted even worse if LSU drops that game today.
Well, Derry Beckwith said that on the radio last night. He said, "Okay, what color uniform you wear, but play good football and win the game. Okay, and
Correct.
if you
That's what
win it, it doesn't matter." But they were coming off a 3-game losing streak, and I think maybe the shade of yellow that they had maybe made the purple look blue. A lot of I wasn't the only one that noticed that. A lot of
Yeah.
people, but you were there in person, and it's always different in person. It's kind of like Hunter when you get up in the morning and you have a pair of black socks or navy socks, and you can't tell which one's which.
Yeah,
You got to
exactly.
hold it up to a light, or you got to go outside and say, "Okay, these are blue. It matches today." I mean, all those guys have done that. Okay, but anyway, all right, Hunter. It's Georgia versus the winner of Texas A&M. Comes Saturday night. Texas is a 6-point favorite. Game in College Station. A lot of juice in that game. Thursday night, Tulane's a 14-point favorite at home against Memphis. Tulane's got a very slim shot to get in the playoffs, but that'll only happen if they crush Memphis on Thursday. The New Orleans Saints, a wild and wacky day in the NFL. Saints will host the Rams, who lost to the Eagles last night. Saints, 2.5-point dog, a rare 3 o'clock kick in the Dome this coming Sunday.
Yeah, for the Saints in particular, I someone needs to fact check me on this, but I feel like the Saints have not played a 3 o'clock kickoff since Breeze was quarterback. I think it's been since 2020 or
You mean
2021
at home or both? I think
at home. Excuse me,
yeah.
in the Dome.
Yeah, it's very rare. I'd have to look it up too. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I remember in the 2019 season for sure. I think they actually had 3 or 4 games that were like 3 o'clock. Like I think they were, America's Game of the Week multiple times that season or something like that. But I go to most of the home games. I couldn't tell you. It's probably been 3 or 4 years since the Saints played at a game that wasn't noon or a primetime game, on Thursday night or Monday night or something like that. So someone had to fact check me, but it's been a while since we've seen a dome kickoff at the 3 o'clock hour.
No question about that. Hey, Pelicans have lost 4 in a row. They're 4-13 on the season. 6.5-point dogs to the Pacers tonight up in Indiana. Indiana's 7-10, but they'll probably beat the Pelicans. The Pelicans have maybe gotten a little bit more than their fair share of the injury bug, and it's just a bad story for the Pelicans.
Yeah, no, I mean it's awful. I mean they're basically playing with a G League team right now in New Orleans, and I think the most frustrating part about it is in most of those losses they've held a double-digit lead early in the game. Like we see that the team coming out and playing motivated and scoring points consistently, and in Pelicans fashion, something we've seen with not these guys in particular, but with the starters that are injured, they hold the lead late into the third quarter or enter in the fourth quarter and blow it and lose the game. And I think that's the most frustrating part of all this is like you're somehow this injured, but finding ways to, get a lead and then you just blow it away every single time. That seems to be the issue. But if you're a New Orleans sports fan at this moment, it's like, what am I supposed to root for? Like, am I just supposed to hope that that the Saints season wraps up soon and wait for the Saints to play again? Because right now, who knows when the Pelicans are going to be healthy again, and if it's going to be too little, too late. Because you get yourself in this big of a hole in the Western Conference, you're going to find yourself sitting at home when playoffs roll around.
Well, if you're a New Orleans sports fan, you better hope your high school team's still in the state
Yeah.
playoffs for the high school. A couple other things. LSU men's basketball with a really nice win up in Virginia yesterday, down 15 at half against a good team. They win in 3 overtimes, 109 to 102. They're now 5-1 on the year. I saw Coach John Brady make a post on Facebook. Of course, he's part of the radio crew for LSU basketball, and he talked about what a win, the coaching, the effort, the players, and they kind of, a win like this will stick with a team for a while. Down 15, you find a way to win it in 3 overtimes. So, maybe some good things in the future for LSU men's basketball.
Oh, absolutely. I believe that's the biggest win under Matt McMahon in his time at LSU. I really do believe that, not just because of where it is in the season is also monumental, and that I agree with Coach John Brady in the fact that you could take that win and ride with it through the rest of the season and use that as motivation and really make LSU a dangerous team. But not only that, I think the great part about so far to start the season is LSU is fun to watch, something that we hadn't seen in the past few years. Like, you're not cringing every time that they dribble up and down the court, just, praying that they don't make a blunder and make a mistake and do something dumb and turn the ball over. Like, sure, yesterday wasn't the most beautiful game, especially early on, like you mentioned. Like, they weren't really moving the ball around as smoothly as they had in the past few games, and kind of similar how they played against Kansas State last week when they got that true road win over Kansas State as an 8-point dog. But they really did put it together at the end and go on a run and play inspired. And I think it's a pretty big bright spot for this LSU team that they look like they have the guys this year to at least make an impact on the court and give them a chance against a lot of high quality opponents this season.
We'll see. The women's basketball team 6-0. They play a 6-1 Washington team at 12:30 today down in the Bahamas. So we'll see if first real test, if you will, for Kim Mulkey's team. We'll see how they fare against the 6-1 team from Washington. So, with all that being said, it's Thanksgiving week. We certainly wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday of the year. It's all about family and friends, good food, a little bourbon that night, some football on the TV. Where's the Thanksgiving holiday rank for you, Hunter?
Yeah, I think it's up there because of the family aspect, getting to see, some family members that you don't always get to see every, throughout the course of the year. Sometimes everybody comes together, at least in my family, that's how it works. I'd say it's in the top 3, right? And I think Christmas for me is still my favorite. Something about Christmas and hopefully the chili cold air and the lights in the tree and everything got a special place in my heart. But I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, I'll be working that day, so I'll be celebrating late in the evening with some football and maybe reheating up some turkey. So I won't get to see as much family this year, but that's life, isn't it?
Well, don't forget our presenting sponsors, LeBare's Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge. We were out at the sports book last week. Now, let me give everybody the schedule for Sports Shorts Daily the rest of this week. Hunter and I and Ronnie will be here on Wednesday. No Sports Shorts Daily on Friday, the Thanksgiving holiday weekend thing. If LSU was still in the hunt, we may mix in a show, but there'll be no Sports Shorts Daily Saturday. We will have Sports Shorts Radio Saturday at a location to be determined. It's the 5th Saturday in the month, so we're scratching through that right now. But we will be back Wednesday morning with another episode of Sport. Are you available Wednesday morning, Hunter?
Sure thing, Ronnie. TK, I can do whatever.
I can
do whatever you need, my friend.
Okay, I could have texted you that, but we might as well do it here on the air. What the heck?
We'll do it live.
Yeah, and then don't forget about Court Street Cafe. They're closed this Thursday for Thanksgiving. Regular hours the rest of the week. And this Saturday is a special day at West Baton Rouge. And Court Street Cafe is a big player in Small Business Saturday in West Baton Rouge. Right here in Port Allen at Court Street Cafe. Small Business Saturday. We want you to participate in all the small businesses in West Baton Rouge, in particular Court Street Cafe. They'll be posting some stuff about it. Sports Shorts will post some stuff about it as well. Small Business Saturday, this Saturday the 30th, here in Port Allen and in West Baton Rouge. Hunter, can you believe it? Come Sunday, we're in the month of December.
No, I can't believe that. This season, this year in general has flown by, but this football season, I can't believe we're down to the last week of the regular season for college football. And NFL playoffs knocking on the door.
Oh, that's right around the corner. All right, Hunter, we appreciate you joining us. We thank Ronnie Ranch somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico for joining us a little bit earlier. We're back Wednesday morning. I'll be over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge for another episode of Sports Shores Daily. Happy Thanksgiving week to everyone. Hunter, thank you for joining us. We'll talk again soon.
See you Wednesday.